We as a society love our comfort, but the thing we love more with or without us knowing is taking ourselves from comfortable to uncomfortable. Now, usually when people are trying to make themselves uncomfortable, it's usually to exercise or eat healthy, which can be uncomfortable for some people in order to benefit their health. Perhaps it's that they make themselves uncomfortable within their career so they can earn more and then they can learn more and then they can pay more taxes. Because, I mean, that's the reality, right? Like every time somebody says like, I make like 100K, you realistically make closer to like 80 to 75. That's taxes, baby. That's called an income tax. Maybe you make yourself uncomfortable by trying anal beads. That makes you that can make you more. That pushes the boundary. Anyway, sometimes you want to make yourself so goddamn uncomfortable that you turn into a goo, into a little ball of goo, right? Little goo boy, and then you get all gooey, and then you get vacuumed up by a wet vac, and then you get placed into a bin so you can stagnate into a little puddle of goo, and then just like die. In this scenario, we're talking about the last thing I said about the goo in the wet vac, not the part about the beads. Unless you're into that, in which case, congratulations. Why am I congratulating you? See, we've had Getting Over It, a game that was intentionally created to be frustrating and have a horrible voiceover that you just turned off about 10 minutes into the game because you realized you were becoming so aggravated you couldn't listen to it anymore, right? God, no! We have Pogo Stuck, which has had many a rage fit, right? Because it is one of the hardest 4D games, but you know, one of the most legendary known moments was when Ludwig was eaten by a snake when he was AFK. That's crazy.
What the fuck is going on?
Or, you know, playing Jump King, a legendary precision jumper that basically made you want to blow your brains out with a gun. Not in Minecraft. Let's talk about a game called A Difficult Game About Climbing. This game broke me and frustrated me and made me so angry that it almost made me want to put my fist through a drywall as if like I had just gotten bronze for like my preliminary matches in League of Legends. Now, while playing this game and collecting the footage, there is more than one time I did something that I would have been ashamed about to do on camera, but I'm totally okay to talk about it because you don't have physical evidence of me doing it. I physically picked up and bit my mouse. I used my mouse in like the way that you would a dishcloth on the mouse pad out of frustration. I outright left the room while I was in the middle of climbing just because I couldn't do it anymore. The game just like, it just made me so angry. See, Ponty Pants, the psychopaths, thought that Floridian games would become more popular after the release of Getting Over It, to which point Getting Over It was inspired by sexy climbing, and thought there would be more games like this, which there have been more games like this, but not as many as he may have thought there would be. See, it's hard to have a genre get really, really big when the genre makes you like inherently suicidal. Now, this game will make you, as I described before, drag your testicles through broken glass and use syringes all the way to the tippy top until you finish it, and then you kind of just want to just you know what this means, right? You can't use your legs in this game, right? So you only have your left and your right hand. When you move your mouse, it moves both of them. If one of them is holding onto the wall or some other object, you can move the other one. You know, they're independent of each other, but only when one is being utilized to hold something. To this point, you then clench with your left click, and then you clench with your right click for left hand, right hand. Now, this is something I didn't know until I started playing it, but you can actually play with controller, which is a huge change for a lot of Freudian games. Most Freudian games require a keyboard or a mouse. Getting Over It, requiring you to have a mouse to be able to push yourself off objects and latch onto things, or you've got Jump King, which only uses a keyboard. Much like the other Freudian games, it's all about making the very difficult way to the top with extremely devastating moments where you can lose all or a lot of your progress in like a blink of an eye. And, you know, we've all seen what happened to people playing Getting Over It. There's just like an insane amount of people that just like shattered stuff or had like a full-blown mental breakdown while playing this game. I know some people are gonna be like, differentiation, content creators like freak out because it's good for content. I don't know, man. I just work here. Within these other games, you would have to jump from spot to spot, or grab from spot to spot, or swing from spot to spot in order to get to what is most of the time a stationary object. Oh, not in the climbing game. No. They've decided that you would have to ascertain the skill set of 3 to 4 mechanics simultaneously. And here is why I would say, that the climbing game is something that not even the gods themselves would get away from pestilence and disease, right? They would let this shit rot no matter how many prayers there are. See, the game doesn't just have grab mechanics, right? It doesn't just have these very light mechanics. It has the great mechanic of sliding off objects, because you yourself are a person, right? It's very hard for you to hold something for long periods of time. So now you're gonna slide off, all these multiple holding objects because of the downwards momentum, okay? I could re-record this part, but I won't do it, and you can't tell me to. And now that you've slipped downward force, you're probably thinking, yeah, but I can grab something on the way down, Reezy. No, you can't, because you might slide down and go to grab an object that's too small below you, and your hand's just gonna slide straight through that, okay? You're getting the feeling that you know what I'm talking about now. Now, here's the thing. There's a point in this game at which it absolutely destroyed me to the core. I had spent hours on this part, and I am not ashamed to say I am currently on that part. And though I've uninstalled the game and rage uninstalled on stream, I have every intention to come back and finish it. To such a degree that I picked up my mouse, right? This very mouse right here. I think it's like the Razer Death Adder V2X Hyperspeed, which is like the most hardcore virgin shit I've ever heard. And I attempted to fully twist and squeeze to break it, and it's fine. I did that like a couple times, and it's fine. So Razer, thank you for making such a quality mouse. I wasn't able to destroy it, so it gets my mark of approval. So as you can tell, this is the hardest Freudian game I've personally ever played, right? And I'm gonna say subjectively, because if I say objectively, based on the mechanics required that it's the hardest, I'm gonna have some sort of absolute borderline sweat jump into the comment section and be like, actually, it's incredibly easy, and you actually suck. Check that man's fucking hard drive. The sheer level of mechanics that is required in this game to progress at a decent speed, at very least to learn circumstances and get better, is insane. The expectation from this game is wild. You're working with momentum, so sliding side by side, which if you go side by side too quickly, you can actually slide down, as I said before, all right? The fact that you slide now, so if you reach up to grab something too quickly, or you go to jump and grab something and then slide down, you might just slide off that rock. I mean, we're also dealing with specific movement types. There is literally a point that I'm stuck at, and I was saying before, I'm stuck in a cave system, right? And I believe a lot of people have gotten stuck in this one cave system. This cave system requires you to do one specific mechanic almost perfectly 2 to 3 times. I think it may be more, right? I think it's 1, 2, then do a bullshit grab, and then there's a third one, right? And then you have to perform it a 4th time. There's 4 times, don't worry, there's 4 times. This specific mechanic requires you to swing yourself at a very specific momentum, at a very specific angle, and pull yourself up and grab simultaneously. All whilst doing this from a position that doesn't bump your head on another object. Now, here's the thing, coming back to the controller thing, is I looked around, right? Because this momentum, like, shift thing that you had to do, I can't do it, right? I tried to do it a lot, I've gotten better at it, and I've been stuck at that part. I think I played on stream for 2.5 hours the other day, and I just stayed in that one place listening to, like, classical music while my brain swirled down a drain as this sucking sound came through and just fucking mashed that shit together.
I want to push myself down a flight of stairs until I hit my head on the ground on the way down, and then my brain fucking explodes out the back like a goddamn 12 gauge went through it, you know?
If you actually see, there's a lot of people, and I will reference him again because he finished the game. Ludwig switched to controller for a large portion of this part because you can play on controller. In fact, the tutorial, which I'll have below if you want to go check it out, that I was following even indicates that I spent hours trying to learn this and it was just easier on controller, which I'm going to be the arsehole here and say, I don't believe any game should ever have an advantage on controller or on, mouse and keyboard, right? And we're not talking about shooters, right? Because I know some absolute sweat hole is going to be like, well, aim assist is there in order to help other people on PC, fight people on PC who did, right? Like, you're ignorant on either side, right? You're either ignorant on the side that you believe that PC players are some godlike and all you have to do is click on a head, right? Just like you would have to be ignorant to say that a controller doesn't need aim assist. It does need aim assist. If we're talking about particular games, well, that's something else. I don't want to talk about that just now. The problem is that this area is so much easier on controller. I've seen multiple people talk about it and multiple people switch to it. But if I've gotten this far on mouse and keyboard, I want to continue on mouse and keyboard. It's a challenge-based game. If I want to play on mouse and keyboard, I should. But at the same point, I shouldn't be heavily taxed for the input that I choose. The truth is that the layers within the climbing game are the absolute differentiation between this and other Freudian games. There is so many mechanics and things you have to learn that make this game just shit all over you. And by God, did you pay $15 to get scattered onto in your face and your mouth and your lips, and I'm gonna stop talking. Now, no doubt there will be a tone of very sweaty people that'll come into the comment section and disagree with me. This is a subjective opinion. I do believe it to have some level of objectability, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, that's what I believe, you know, and it's my channel, so. If you disagree with me, that's sick. Let's talk in the comment section. I need something to do on my commute every morning. And you know where I'll finish the game? Over at twitch.tv/Reezy. Had to put it in there at least once.
You gotta keep your blood in your balls, that's what I say.
Thanking you for giving me a little bit of your time in this world. I hope you enjoyed. I appreciate you.